We firmly believe that Black women are not only magical, but we are as invaluable and powerful as vibranium. Our podcast is dedicated to empowering Black and Brown women to embrace the transformative power of astrology and tarot. Through these intuitive arts, the Melanated Mystics will guide you to explore and connect with your deep inner magic and help you to finally release the burdens of Black Superwoman syndrome. It's time to redirect our energies inward and prioritize ourselves on this transformative journey of self-discovery.
So there is a color thing here with the Keke Palmer and what's his face, her baby daddy, because you look at Keke Palmer and you're like, epitome, right? Epitome of like what you're going for, what everybody wants. She's popular. Men come out the woodwork to talk about publicly having a crush on Keke Palmer, right? So that when all this stuff came out about her and Dude, I was like, this is a color thing. And the reason why is because I have many friends. I have family members who are darker skinned and friends who like it. The color thing is real. Like, remember when Gabrielle Union said it was a big deal for her and Dwayne to be on the cover of Ebony magazine and both be dark skinned Black people? That's a real thing. Like, they don't get like, so anyway, I often felt like I couldn't speak about it as someone who wasn't of darker skinned, or, for this country anyway. But when you have like when you have family members, when you have best friends and you see their experience, you pick up on things, and then having them tell you literally, like, I remember of one of my dear friends, she's darker skinned, her husband's lighter skinned, and she's like, we the only ones out here, like having a darker skinned wife and a lighter skinned husband, very rare. And she's stunning. I'm not going to say all her business and tell her name here, but she's stunning. And she still carries that. People look at her and go, why are you guys together? Like, people think like, because, and I mean, she's stunning. Let me talk to you for a minute. Okay. But there is still that thing. Look, Gabrielle Union's talking about it. Gabrielle Union's stunning. There's still this thing of like, he's lighter, and therefore I have like been chosen a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to stop there. But
girl, do you remember? Okay, so you remember how we were just talking about Albie Shore? And for those of us coming up, like Christopher, what was his name? Christopher Walker. What was his name? Christopher Washington.
Pretty boys.
Yeah, you're pretty motherfucker. You remember that? New Jack City.
I said Al Shore is still paying for being pretty. His whole life he's been paying for being pretty. Okay, go ahead.
And also, do you remember that movie Precious with Gabourey Sidibe? You remember? And so I remember reading the book. It was one of the saddest books, one of the saddest movies. I can't believe Black people have taken that movie and we make jokes about that and that character now, because I remember at the time that shit broke my heart in pieces, like every time I read it. But do you remember how in the very beginning she was in this fantasy world in her mind and how her life was perfect, and she had like her boyfriend was like the perfect light-skinned boyfriend. Like, she even said that. Like, that was... And there was that picture of, like all of that. And I wondered about that. Too, but you're right. Like, I don't ever because we all understand the light skin privilege and like all of that shit. And like, so I didn't want to bring it up, but I wondered if that was a part of it. And that got me even more angry. Cause like you said previously, it's not just her looks, her obvious talent from the time she was a child. Her and her mama seemed to love each other. Girl, there's a video of the mom cursing the baby daddy out. That's some of the funniest shit I have ever, like, I was like, oh, he really messed up, because for your mama to get on the phone, for you to pull your mama into your business and put your mama on the phone, something's wrong. But not only all that, and not only is she beautiful with this bang, bam, pow body, talk about like snapback, everything, always working. I think she's about to host, it's not the VMAs, I don't know if this BET award, she got like another big like hosting gig. That young woman also floats on the energy of goodwill of Black people. Like, so many people call her like their little cousin. Like, that's how we think about her.
That's what we feel about Keke.
And for that to happen, like, and so I was saying, girl, I knew the minute he was on here talking about your mama, you're supposed to ding, 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 red flag.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's
that happens a lot. I'm going to tell you that people say that a lot. So now I start thinking about it. I'm like, huh. And it happened in front of us. I think that is another part. We didn't see it because we think we know her, right? We think we know people, what they put on social media. I remember just being very impressed with him, being like, wow, look at this impressive man. He has no problems just talking about and showing how much he loves her. Like I never got a thing from him. Not until that he said that, not until he posted that. But I was just like, wow, he's just open with his love. He's just open with it. I love it, right? I love him. I love her seeing it loved up, right? For who she is. She don't got to be looking like something all the time. She can be herself. But I told you as soon as I found out who his brother was, I was like, oh, it's all making sense now. I was like, why didn't nobody tell me before? But I just didn't care enough to look stuff up. But I'm like, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is like, anyway, it's a thing, and we gotta address it. We really do gotta address it. I mean, stop acting like this isn't something that people live with, and it can happen even to our darlings. But there's often this comparison between Zendaya and Kiki. And I often go, and that there is, right? Because they are both powerhouses, right? Yeah, they are. But Zendaya is biracial. And there is just this whole other thing there that like people automatically don't put Kiki in the same category, even though she is, and actually both of them, I mean, they've been working forever, right? But they don't put her in the same category. So I just think, color plays into this, and we got to address that.
Yeah. Because
our darker skinned sisters are vulnerable to this shit. They really are.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to try to emphasize it more in my own personal life, because I'm one of these women that the only magazines I really subscribe to that come to my house are Vanity Fair and Southern Living magazine. But anytime I see a black or brown woman on a magazine cover, I'm buying it and it's going on my coffee table. And I remember saying, y'all go look at this. Beauty pageants, I know, whatever, are problematic. But girl, Miss Universe Columbia, when I tell you liquid black gold, the way she was walking. So I'm gonna make a pledge right here now. I'm gonna get back to doing this, making sure that we emphasize that, because that truly is that beautiful richness, the melanin. Hello, that's why we call ourselves the melanated mystics. That's honestly, to me, that's where, when we're talking about beauty and outward pulchritude, that's the source. Like, that's the origin for me. And almost literally like a billboard of, I am magic. I am magic. I am special. I am of the diaspora. Like, I connect all the way back to Daisy, right? Like the first, oldest human remains found. I'm going to find that picture and put that one up too, as we're talking about beauty. And so with that being said, we're starting in medias res, as all my professors would say, in the middle of things. In the middle of things, this episode of the Melanated Mystics, welcome. Yeah, Karrie and I are here, and we're back with another amazing topic, one that I think all of us enjoy talking about, beauty. Karrie she already named the episode before we even got started. So we're talking about beauty and glamour, how that connects to or feeds our Black girl magic, and what we can learn about it, and how you can use tarot and astrology to help you work your beauty. Karrie, I'd love for you to walk us in. We said we were going to start with a bit of a question. So Karrie, what is it to you, beauty and glamour? Take either one or both. Just give us your self-Karrie perspectives on it as we get started.
Beauty and glamour. You know what? Beauty to me, I will say beauty has come to me in stages. When I was younger, beauty to me was a burden, because I looked at women and girls around me, and, I grew up in the 90s in my, in high school and stuff. And I just saw it as like, wow, our whole lives are just, as soon as you get into high school, junior high, your whole life becomes about what you look like as a girl, right? It's like that now for boys too, but back then it was mostly girls. And I just thought, I don't want to be, I want to be known for being smart. I want to be known for being so it was kind of a burden back then. But then I got my hand on some lipstick and and I got one little tube of lipstick, right? And my mom was really anti-beauty, because my mom was like, don't wear makeup because, your youth is your beauty, right? Like, youth is your beauty. Makeup covers you up, right? So like, you don't need all this stuff. You don't need to look older than you are, blah, 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 blah. So I had hid this little thing of little lipstick, and I would put a little on my eyes and a little on my lips. And the feeling that you get, because magic is about adornment. That's how we get it going. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like putting your hands together, right? Bippity boppity boo, right? So I start going like, the lipstick, the act of adorning is me coming out. This is my magic coming out. And so beauty now to me is a very big part of my magic and my femininity. And even like Cleopatra with the coal on the eyes, it was never a burden. It was just part of the process. I don't feel like it covers up, and it enhances, it brings out. It's like a peacock's feathers, Right. Yes. So yeah, I think I now love glamour, but I understand where glamour and beauty have gotten a bad rap in the past. It's been weaponized.
I will start with, for the first part of my young life, any feeling like you were pretty, cute, feeling yourself, walking around with like an extra bop was absolutely, like you said, was absolutely frowned upon. And I get it for some reason. I grew up in the dirty, dirty South by people that grew up during Jim Crow and like civil rights era. So I get like, if you're a Black woman, and if you're in any way like attractive, like just cover that up, because like we're so it's problematic. Goes back very far. But through my spiritual walk, through my astrology, certainly through the cards, and just knowing inherently who I am, having graduated from therapy, that shit is just a part of who I am. The glow part, like, because to me, that's what glamour is. It is that thing that you turn on the inside that just radiates out, like that affects people. At least for me, like it's a part of all my fire energy. Like I when I was younger, I didn't know what it was. I didn't get it. I knew people kind of like to be around me, but I didn't know that it was a superpower. And it's a part of every day for me, because it's something I'm trying to reclaim. It was something that fire part of me, that wanting to, I like you and I want you to love me back, and I'm going to look like this and I'm going to act like this. And this is part of the Halicue show, which is so much fun. Like, and dancing, like for me, y'all know I'm a dancer. I study Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Cuban, some reggaeton, belly dance, hula. So much of the glamour work for me too is even, I feel like anytime I go to a dance class, it's a spell, because mirror work is a real thing. Like enchanting yourself, looking at yourself, admiring yourself, speaking, seducing yourself, speaking to yourself, and then taking that magic, taking what you generate, because quite often in a dance class, you're generating power, like to beginning little, like we call them baby witches out there. Like they kind of learn, one of the most important things about doing spell work is generating power. Some women do it by singing, some by listening to drums. For me, it's actually moving and dancing. So for me, every single class is a spell. And I take seducing myself, like in my mind, being the main character in the video and the music and the song. I take that with me out into regular life. And that's a part of my magic. It's a part of what I radiate. I can't believe I was walking this earth not dancing, like thinking, oh, that's something I got to leave behind. So I guess that's what I think about. And I also think about how whatever we paint our faces with, like whatever skin, like whatever Karrie is an excellent example for this. Y'all get close to the screen, look at Karrie's skin, get into that, look into the lusciousness of the hair. Everything we do to touch ourselves, our face, as we're doing our skincare rituals, that is magic. And some of it is inherently Black. Some of it is like especially Black and brown. So let us jump into it. Let's get into it. Karrie, I'm going to try to pull up some cards that I pulled and we're going to talk about later, but I really want for us to jump into the astrology of beauty and glamour, and how Black and brown girls and all women can jump into it and use it to amplify their natural beauty.
Yes. I want to say this about it. These are what I call the beauty marks of astrology, right? And I think for a long time, we want to just say like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, like whoever, you're beautiful, everybody's beautiful. You're right. Everyone is beautiful. But if you look into the history of beauty, it comes in cycles. What the masses think is beautiful, we program ourselves, into what we like this now, we like that now. Right. And then we have an entire globe of beauty here. So, but the reason why I like astrology is that astrology will tell you the truth, right? Sometimes people won't. Astrology will tell you the truth though. So astrology will tell you if you have beauty marks, right? And beauty marks represent the part of you that other people respond to as giving them peace, as making them feel romantic. That's all a beauty mark is. And it doesn't have to be in our, whatever the contemporary, view of beauty or what they're saying is, the Kardashians are beautiful or whatever. It's the feeling you get from that person. And we all have different indicators of that. We can have different indicators, some of us more than others in our chart. And then Halicue is also going to talk about some tarot cards that will indicate that as well. But yeah, what I always like to say to people is like, tap into that beauty if you have it. We shun it a lot. It is a way to control each other, for men and for women. Lord knows we shut down beautiful men. Okay. And you know what I'm saying? Like why do they exist? Right. So the self-study of astrology and tarot helps you start to embrace and be like, no, God gave me this. What am I supposed to do with it? It's not about whether I have it. It's what am I supposed to do with it? So we'll talk about that.
Well, I'm so excited to jump in. Karrie, where is the first place? Because I like to think of our chart and the cards as when I am dealing with something, like when I want to amplify my beauty. Like I'll never forget, I was doing an important reading for somebody very, very, very important that I wanted to be a mentor to me. And so it was video. And so I was like, well, okay, I know I got to get it together, but I knew I needed something more. Like I knew that I knew I was going to be moisturized. I knew the parts of myself and my body, also shoulders. I've also studying a little bit about beauty and how you dress yourself. I know what my strengths are. I knew I don't want to put out there, but I always love going to the cards and my chart to make the most of, like, what is going on with me right now that I can, is it the beauty of my voice? Is it how I see things? Is it how I'm responding to what the astrological weather is, like what I can do to really put it out there and to love it and enjoy it. Is there a certain part of our chart that we could look at for that when it's important, when it's for something?
Well, we always can look at our transit, and we always look at where Venus is transiting on our chart to find out, like, where is my beauty best used right now, right? Like, for those who are listening at a later time, we don't know when you're listening, but like Venus is currently in the sign of Libra, I believe, about to move into Scorpio. And Venus and Libra are just, Venus is ruled, Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is the goddess of love. Libra is, the beauty mark. It is the ideal beauty mark, to be honest, Libra, because Libra represents synastry and symmetry, right? And so when you want to look at where Venus is in your chart, like, is it transiting your 10th house? That means you're especially beautiful in the career and the public space, right? Is it in your 6th house? That means you're doing something at the gym, right? Your physical body, you're doing some things to cleanse and purify the physical body, and you're making it beautiful. If you got Venus transiting your 4th house, it's in your home. You're a beautiful thing in your home. You're often beautifying your home, right? To match you. So Venus, look at where Venus is transiting and to see how to use your beauty. And then there are those who have Venus in very prominent places natally, right? Lots of celebrities have this, okay? So if you want to see where Venus is in my chart, like if you have Venus in the 1st house, like Beyonce has Venus in the 1st house. I always love BTS. I love talking about BTS. So I love Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS.
You've made me actually go look up BTS. I got to be honest. Somehow I was out here living not really. I understand like kind of K-pop and stuff, but I was like, I don't even really get it. I was like, let me get in here and see what Karrie's talking about.
I love them. I think they're so talented, him especially, and they are wonderful lyrics and all this stuff. But like, if you wanted to use a man as an example, right? Of he is Venus in Libra, so already paired with Libra and in the first house. The first house represents your appearance. So here's it, regardless of what else is going on in his chart, he appears as a beautiful man, right? And it's visually beautiful because it's in the first house, right? And so Beyonce has that. There's quite a few. I think Angelina Jolie has that. There's quite a few people that have this markers of Aishwarya Rai, like people who just have these markers of beauty. So you want to check and see where and then finally, if you have Taurus or Libra rising. So if you have a Venus ruled, and this isn't saying that you can't be pretty if you don't have these, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But it's basically saying that what you do is you're bringing a type of romance and a type of peace that people are responding to when they see you. Right. So again, Beyonce has Libra rising. So does Jungkook, by the way. So like we start to see a pattern here. Kim Kardashian, you know what I'm saying? Like we start to see a pattern of that. So those are kind of those markers that you can look at. But for, I don't let people get too deep into it. It's like, it's not so much about what's attractive to other people as the feeling that you're giving them. That Venus in Libra, that Venus in the first house, wherever Venus is, that's working whether you put on lipstick today or not. Okay. So, glamour just enhances it.
That is good to hear because I know Venus and I know how to get there. And I think I finally understand my transits. And I want to take this time to introduce a little bit of tarot and what I like to do. Even just to pull up, the wonderful thing I love about the cards, whether you're working with Oracle or Tarot, is their actual physical, it's an actual physical thing. It's something you can hold, you can put close to you, you can put by a candle, you can look at it, stare at. If you need help, if you're one of those people that have a hard time visualizing, stare at the card and try to create the scene in your mind. Some of my favorite meditations are the ones that actually describe tarot cards and ask you to step in them. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? So I chose a couple that I like to use for my glamour and magic work, whether I'm writing about it, actually doing some kind of quote unquote spell before I even get ready to come do this, Karrie. Like I open my bathroom, in my bedroom bathroom cabinet, I've got a big picture of the Queen of Wands. So we can go ahead and get started with her. But even before that, I pulled an oracle card. Y'all know I love the Love Oracle of Eden. Shout out to the creators of African Tizama Tarot. I love their images. And so I thought beauty is a huge topic. Like, so what is the message? What's a communal reading I even want to get us started with, or what's the overall energy? And it's sacred. Karrie and I were speaking about it earlier. Look at this beautiful, like Zoptic figure. She's got like an hourglass.
She looks like Nigella.
Right? I love Nigella so much. I still in some ways dress like Nigella. She was wearing these like body skimming, the way Skims does these dresses and like the TikTok dresses that kind of like hold you, girl. She was doing that back in the early aughts with a cute little denim jacket. I love her. Let's bring that energy in, understanding that however we were created, whatever kind of meat suit we were given when our soul came down here, there is something beautiful and special about it. And it is sacred. It is so much more than, our wigs, our eyelashes, how small our body is, how, big our body is. It's so much more than that. You're right, Karrie. When you were talking earlier about like Cleopatra and the kohl under the eyes, like, that is to amplify the beauty of the eyes, the windows of the eyes. It's not necessarily to hide, but to make them bigger. Sometimes what we're doing in our beauty routines gives us power. Like it helps you walk in there with your chest out and your shoulders back. And again, if some of us have a hard time even figuring out what main character energy is, like it helps us. And so that's where we want to get started. We want to remember that it is sacred. It is a power. It is unique. It is ours. And let's think of it, let's think of it that way. Let's think of it as another tool in our arsenal of who we are. And I think it's to be respected. So let's just jump I'll just jump right in, Karrie. And I don't know if you're familiar with some of these cards, but I know you know what the Magician is. That's my sister's favorite card. There's a lot of us, like if we're magical, spiritual people, a lot of us Karrie's like giving y'all some finger snaps for the Magician. And I love this card because this card teaches so many things. It not only teaches you how to make an altar, because in the Magician, we see the Magician. They've normally got one hand up to the heavens holding a wand. The other hand is almost always sometimes placed near or on a table, which has a pentacle, a sword, a cup, and a wand on it. So I always use that in my classes to tell people that's how you make an altar. All you got to do is bring together earth, air, fire, water, and you got yourself a ritual. If you bring yourself and spirit into it, when the Magician card comes up, I always think, oh, you should be doing magic. You're catalytic right now. Like now is a time to do it. And I can't help in this conversation but to think, oh, right, the Magician. When we sit down before our dressing tables, when we get ready to sit down before the camera, even those of us that aren't into makeup and stuff that just want to show up clean and moisturized, yeah, that's us being the Magician. We're getting ready to do some magic. We've gathered up whatever those elements are, and we can use them. And I want to encourage you too, if you don't have like a beauty regimen or a ritual, take this card and maybe some of the other ones that I'm going to bring up and just put it there. Like, yeah, I'm just creating my magic today. Yeah, like what is the air element? Maybe it's music. Maybe it's a little incense in the background. What is the fire element? Girl, I have a special Queen of Wands candle. I literally just photocopy a picture of the Queen of Wands and I slap it on a candle. But it's in my bathroom and I light it up. Like in the morning when I'm doing my, like when I'm trying to get it together and I'm brushing my teeth, like Jennifer Lewis. Have you ever seen that video of Jennifer Lewis where she's like, every morning I get up and I brush my teeth and I look in the mirror and I say, pretty bitch. Yes. Look at that Queen of Wands. Like, look at that magic. She just spoke that spell and that's how she gets her day started. So the Magician, making magic. What are your tools? Like, what are you doing around it? And enjoy it, whether it's putting a face on in the morning, taking it off, whether it's exercising the body, displaying the body, like Karrie said, adorning. You can bring some of these elements into it. They're wonderful archetypes for this and they're so much fun. Karrie, is a Magician a fave of yours?
I do because I like the mystical. I like the mystical elements of it and the manifestation elements of it. Yes. One of my faves. Yeah.
One of faves. And I also, here's another big one. It's right smack in the middle. And let's get this one out of the way because this is also the card that is associated with Leo, right? Like card number 8, the Strength card. And this card is so nuanced, even though it's a major arcana card. And guys, we're probably going to talk about this in the Melanated Mystic Minute. Karrie and I are going to bang some of those out at the end of this, but it's about so much more than be strong. Like when this card comes up, I think the beauty of this card is that we see the beautiful lion and we see this very femme presenting figure, flowers in the hair, and the old version of the card, like kind of a, simple white robe, flowers in the hair, flowers around her feet, and she's caressing the lion. Her hand is basically in the, like in the lion's mouth or like resting on its face. And I think this says so much about beauty and how for some of us, our unique brand of beauty is that dance, that balance between the ferocious beast that's inside of us and that kind of soft, feminine, outward, like kind of outward facing part of our beauty and how we power, right? Because we almost always see in this card, do we see it? There's almost always like a limniscate at the top, like, the thing that like symbolizes like the ellipse or energy feeding on itself. When these two things are working together, yeah, you're glowing. You're glowing from the inside out. And I encourage us to do that, to think about that. What is our ferocity? For some of us, it's our intellect, right? Or our weapon. Like for some of us, it's the charm, our ability to persuade. For some of us, it's that emotional connection. Like people get close to us and they immediately want to talk to us. They immediately want to get into a relationship with us. So that is another wonderful, wonderful archetype for inspiring your work. And, maybe I'll use this for heart work a little later. When we do our heart work, I'm going to give us an assignment. And finally, my favorite queen, the Queen of Wands. She is the bad bitch of the tarot. She is very magical. This is mature feminine beauty. This is one of the only figures or female figures or femme figures in the tarot that sits with their legs astride. They're almost always holding a wand, which is very phallic, says a little bit something about how their fire and their heat is kind of controlling the situation. Like if it was a joystick, she's driving it. Like she's controlling it. We see sunflowers around her. Sunflower is my favorite flower. It's about optimism, turning your face towards the sun, those things that make you happy. That's a big part of our beauty work. And I'd like to encourage us to do that too. If you're having a hard time figuring out, I just don't feel like I'm on my game, I'm not radiating right now. Maybe it's because your face isn't turned towards the sun. Maybe, like the sunflower, literally the sunflower's big, beautiful, smiling face follows the sun all day. And to me, that is symbolic of spend your time and attention and your focus on shit that makes you happy, that brings joy. Sometimes that's the reason we can't light the fire, because we're just, we're frozen. We're drowning in somebody else's mess. And she has that beautiful black cat. That's her familiar. I also think that this is where, I don't know, to me, the cat, even though I'm a little afraid of cats, to be perfectly honest with you, they have this grace, right? They have this elegance. They have this presence. Like I've seen cats that walk into the room like, yeah, I'm here now. And like, we all have to pay attention to the cat. It just, I'll never forget, like it was circle time with a bunch of women. It was at a work retreat, actually. And we're all sitting in a circle and the cat came in and just sat in one of the spaces, like in the circle. So I was like, oh, hello. Like she has arrived or he has arrived. It's very slinky. It's very beautiful. It's very seductive. She glows. I will never forget when I knew magic and tarot was real, Karrie, when I was like, how do I handle this situation? It's coming up. And I was like, let me just get just a little bit of, focus, because the cards always help me focus, especially when I'm anxious or stressed. And girl, the Queen of Wands came up, which said to me, just be your damn self. Just be you. The key to being this. And Karrie, you amplified it, because I remember asking you, Karrie, do you have any advice for me before I go into this meeting? This was somebody that was very important in podcasting. And you were like, girl, no, you just have to be you. And then when this card came up, I was like, oh shit, she was right. That is all I have to do. And those are my three favorite energies.
I have a hard time. I'm like, God, I love that big, huge lion. I'm having a visceral reaction. That's why I love tarot, because it's such a compliment. And you're right. Astrology can feel like, oh, it's somewhere out there. But tarot really is like, how can I touch this? How do I bring this down to earth, right? And when I start to see even the flaming orange of the lion's mane, or like that beautiful ruby scarlet color of the Queen of Wands, it's like you start embodying it when you connect with it, like when you visually see it. So like, yeah, I can't decide which one I like better, but I like the fact that you're going to do the strength card for heart work.
These are also beautiful in their own, but let's get going. Let's get going with the heart work, and let's use each card as your assignment. Okay. And this is fun. Y'all should have fun with this. If this isn't fun.
It is fun. Come on.
Yeah. Like after you consult your chart and you get an idea of what's going on with like Karrie recommended your Venus, let's get going first of all with your beauty spells. Let's get started with the Magician. Make some magic around your preparation space. I don't really care what it is. Some of us just splash water and get going in the morning. Like sometimes it's in the car. I mean, I know women that they don't even know how to put on makeup unless it's en route and in transit. Make some magic there. Think about what is the earth, air, fire, and water of your beauty routine, because whatever it is, wherever your tools are, is magic. So take a look. Add and see what spark of something, what's missing. Do you not have fire there? Do you not listen to music or whatever air is when you're getting started? Do you take time to touch yourself? Because to me, that's the pentacles of it, like the physical body. The pentacles is earth energy, right? And to me, it's like, what magic is going on with my touch? Like, Karrie, I don't know if you take classes at, at your gym or whatever, and this like, wrap your arms around yourself and hug yourself for a great workout. Girl, not only do I hug myself, I go like, mwah, mwah. Get out there, girl. Like, get out there and do it. I make sure to lovingly touch myself. as a part of, as a part of my ritual. So that is an assignment. Let's get into the altar of your rituals. Get into that. And I'd love to hear from y'all on that. Like, give us some tips.
What do you do?
Yeah. Like, Karrie, do you do anything special? Like that you can share. Don't give away all your magic, but anything you want to share?
Top 2 things I do. I love my beauty routine, my skincare routine, which, by the way, extends to my food. Like it's not just whatever I put on my skin, but I also, I dab my routine, my whole thing. I massage my stuff. Okay. And then I drink lots of water, and I always drink water when I'm putting on my skincare and my makeup. Also, I have a glass of water next to my bedside table. Beauty sleep, right? Hydration. So if ever I get up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I'm a little parched, right? My skin needs replenishing too, right? But yeah, I've noticed that, I bring some water with me. It's tea, whatever it is. And I drink as I'm doing my skincare routine, my makeup routine. I always listen to music also. It's almost like there's a movie being created in my head. I was listening to, when I was doing my makeup this morning, I was listening to Lauv, Lauv. He's a singer, and he has this song with Julia Michaels, and it's called like There's No Other Way. Girl, as I was listening to this music, I had a whole movie created in my head where I was in the star of it. I was like, oh, and then we're going to meet in the office, and then we're going to, not be able to get together, but then, something's going to happen. Like I had created a whole thing. That is literally conjuring. Okay. That's literally manifesting going on right now. So always listen to music, not just freakum dress when you're trying to go out for the night. Okay. But like, what do you do to beautify and adorn? What do you listen to when you're doing that in the morning? It's literally programming you, by the way.
Yeah. Speaking of programming, I love talking about how programmable and chargeable water is. You're right. I had an herbalist instructor, and I do this now, but the water by the bedside, the first thing in the morning when I take a drink of water, I literally say thank you, right? Because water is life, right? If there's no water, like there is no life. Girl, and charge that shit as a part of a ritual. Like, there was a joke on TikTok where like somebody's like, water's chargeable. If you speak into it, and then drink it, that's what'll happen. And so somebody was like, they took Megan Thee Stallion. They were like, body crazy, curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist.
Oh, damn.
Girl, I cracked up. But I thought that was so funny. I was like, but so funny, but real.
Right. Because now you think that, and now you're programming your body to do that. And like even when I was saying before about water and hydration, about aging is just dehydrating, basically. Right. So you see this right here? This is what I drink every day. Right. So I fill up this thing, and every day I take this in the car with me. When I'm going, I have a water bottle in the car, and I take this in the car, and it's like, okay, so we keep refilling my water bottle. But this ensures to me, like by the end of the day, this is down, This ensures to me that I'm getting my amount, right? But we need those things, right? Like we need those little things around us to be like our little, to be our altar. Like this is my little water. This is my little altar when it comes to my beauty every day. Yeah. And my health. Yeah.
No, I love that. And Karrie, I'm definitely going to be remembering this because Karrie was giving me a little sisterly advice / admonishment in the gentlest, kindest way. Y'all take this and use it, please. Oh my heavens. And for the strength card, here's our assignment. Because again, we've got those 2 beautiful figures, right? We've got the femme figure and we've got the lion. And in a lot of ways, when we only see 2 figures, but they're equally strong, like that's about balance. And sometimes when these cards show up, it's because something is out of balance, right? Like maybe the ferocity has taken over and there's no time for, like there's no softness. Because we've all seen, we all know ladies too that are unbelievably striking and beautiful, but or something's missing. Something's missing that keeps the prettiness from being beauty, right? Or the spark from being glamour. And so not policing anything, because your personality is your personality, and Lord knows the bigger the personality for me, the better. Like Shrinking Violet is a very hard person for me to be hanging out with. let's look at that and see, perhaps isn't it something out of balance? Especially around the way you feel about yourself. Because I promise you, it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, whether or not you're a makeup girly, lash girly, wig girly or not. The thing that makes it magic is how you feel about yourself. So take a look at those two figures and see which one is out of balance, which one is taking up more space than the other, because we want both of those to come together. So I want you to think about that as well. And on a macro level, right? Because the Magician and the Strength card are big cards. They're the big booming voices in the sky. They're the major arcana. And right smack in the middle is the Queen of Wands. I want you to look at every aspect of this card, and especially when it comes to glamour and beauty. Each one of us has a Queen of Wands inside us. Either it's the dominant energy like me, or it's just kind of inside there. She just kind of sits over here. She doesn't really make an appearance. I want you to think about how you can turn her on. Think of her like a light switch and turning it on. And what aspects that we went over in this card can you start identifying with, paying attention to when you see it out in nature? Especially if you're feeling like you want your beauty, your routine, your glamour, or your charm, your magnetism, you want to amp it up a little bit. And as we talk about tarot, especially on our YouTube channel, right? The Melanated Mystic Minute, where Karrie and I give you like a little bite-sized piece of something, like you can learn on YouTube Shorts. And one of the things I know I'm going to talk about is symbols. Symbols are that's what the cards are made up of, like of symbols. These are old, ancient symbols. Anybody can take a look at this and figure this out. Look at these beautiful symbols. The sunflower again. Are you turning your face, your time, your attention to what brings you joy? The cat. That's not, maybe I'll do the cat. The wand. She's assertive. What aspect or area of your life are you willing to kind of be out there with, right? Like you've got some control over where are you naturally strong, like naturally dominant. And also the Queen of Wands is also, to me, she's a woman that enjoys pleasure and she enjoys physical pleasure. So think about a little self-love, self-pleasure, however that works for you. For some of us, it's TJ Maxx. I know for my sister, I swear to God, there's something about a little bit of shopping that completely like lights her fire and turns her on. But what is it for you? For some of us, it's a little bit more in the body, right? Like maybe it is some type of physical or tactile pleasure, but what is it? Because whatever it is, the Queen of Wands is attuned to it. Okay. So use those symbols, whatever your deck is, whatever your card is, pick one or two and start figuring out like where that lives for you. Where is that around, or how can you activate that and practice turning her on? Like, Karrie, do you ever feel like you turn, because there's 4 queens. There's a Queen of Swords, right? Which is about intelligence, wit, communication. Queen of Cups, she's emotional. She loves to talk about like emotions, relationships, connection. She loves all this magical, spiritual stuff. Queen of Wands, we just went over her. Queen of Pentacles, money. Like, to me, Megan Thee Stallion is kind of a Queen of Pentacles too, like body, yada, yada. Like, their body, they're makers, they're very earthy. And I feel that you can switch them on when you need to. So is there one that you like to switch on to feel, do you know what I mean? Not necessarily the queens, but those energies.
Absolutely. You know, I had a man say to me recently, I like your swagger. And I was like, hey, I felt it. I was like, I know what he's talking about, and it's not something I walk around with all the time, but the swagger, the confidence of I know this is my house. Oh, we've journeyed into my house now. Now I can show up. Now I can like light up here. And for me, to be honest, that's like teaching astrology is where I have my swagger, and also driving. I am that bitch when it comes to driving. Like I'm like, I need to be a race car driver. I am a good driver. I can get in and out of stuff quickly, very safely. Something about that speed and something about that knowledge and that agility, I'm very good. And so, yeah, recognize what your swagger is and then, turn that on, and also know when it's not needed, right? I'm out with a man, and I don't need to show him that I can drive really well. You know what I'm saying? Let him drive. You can drive. You show me something, but so how to, when to turn it on and turn it off. But when you come in completely, yeah.
I'm going to also recommend, this is another way your cards can really be wonderful, or even planetary energy, right? Like Venusian energy. I have a little love altar. Like I consider it like my Venus altar. It's kind of in my bedroom, and it kind of just
you got me doing my blue ivy smile when I just lit up with that, like,
yeah. And it's kind of, and Karrie, it was your. When was this? When was it? When were we discussing Venus? Oh, I think it was back when it was very Taurian. And I remember thinking, like, how can I bring more of this in there? And I also was interested in planetary energy. So in my bedroom, literally, it's my vanity. It's like a very pretty little vanity table I bought at an antique store in Portobello Road that we managed to get back like in one piece when we moved. But have fun with that. Put some red and some pink stuff on there. Because in Hoodoo, like, we love color magic and red, pink. If when roses are on sale, pick some up, put them in the bedroom, or put it by wherever you're doing your, getting ready in the morning, go to bed at night. And most importantly, understand that this is a birthright of ours. I swear, I know that in our culture, we do a lot of weird shit around. Don't dress like this. Don't wear makeup. Don't, especially when we're young girls. And yeah, your beauty is in how young you are. In a lot of ways, that's absolutely, of course, that's correct. There's nothing more powerful and gorgeous than a maiden. And for our maidens listening, y'all are beautiful in ways y'all can't even see or comprehend. And Karrie, tell me if you agree with this or not. If you consult us for or somebody like me, I'm not going to speak for Karrie, but I'd love to know what she thinks about it. I don't have a question. Oh my goodness. I swear there are people that have spent all this money and they're like, oh, I don't really have a question.
Right. Okay, I know about that. I know about that.
Why don't you have a question? This is a very expensive hour of your time.
Yes.
Why don't you have a question? Ask a question about some of these things. These are great things. How can I amplify my beauty? What is my superpower? What are the cards? What do my stars say around what is naturally, inherently powerful, attracting in me that maybe I can't see right now? That maybe isn't apparent to me, that I'm not seeing because of either the way I was raised or I was born or I was conditioned. That's a wonderful question to ask us.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That's fantastic. Yes. If you have a question, ask this then. Yes.
Yeah. If you don't have one, I promise you every episode you listen to, you'll come up with some questions that you can probe deeper and that you can do yourself that are about you.
Yes, because it is a self-study. It's about what is my magic and how do I wield it? Period. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, it's 11/11.
My little niece was born November 11th at 11/11, I think. Like, it was crazy. She just turned a year old. She's a little Scorpio girl.
Yes, she's a little Scorpio. Oh, she gonna be okay. We gonna talk to her.
Girl, it's a stellium. Like I told you, like on TikTok when they show that, like they play that like Beelzebub, da 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 da, like where they show like the different. And when I saw her chart, I was like, Caitlin, I love you. Like my sister, it's her mama. Strength be with you. We're gonna be praying for you, girl. Because I was like,
we will hold you. We will hold you through it because she's clearly brought here. She was brought here
to teach.
She brought here to teach. She's brought here to experience and to learn. And she's wise. Yes. We're gonna hold you through it. I don't even know you, Caitlin, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah, for you.
I'm signing myself up
with you because that's another way too to think about your beauty. I'm not even gonna get into. What do they say? Like when I'm shopping, I truly do. I think about my Venus and Gemini in the second house. I think about that.
Think about that Venus. Think about it when it comes to your money too. Because I love it. Because Venus, and I've said this before, but like Venus in your chart represents where you attract things, like a bee to honey. Yeah. And so Venus is also our commerce and what we attract to us, the money, and how we can attract money to us. This is how you can use your beauty. Venus is attraction, all right? How you can use your beauty with astrology. Halicue, your Venus is in Gemini, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the second house, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, well, this is like period. Okay. It's like very clear with Halicue. Her Venus, the way that she attracts is through her voice and her curiosity. That's what Gemini is all about, right? and through her knowledge and her wit, because she has a lot of information in there and she's always seeking new information. And so we're attracted to that. This is also how she makes money, though, right? Because the second house represents your self-value and your resources. So Halicue talks about self-value. And the more she talks about self-value and the more she teaches self-value, the more money she makes. And you probably noticed this throughout your life, Halicue. Like, you've tried to put yourself into these. Well, are you somebody that other people tried to put into like managerial positions, like teaching positions? People just assume that you know something and they're like, okay. And you're getting there and you're like, what am I don't know why they thought I could do this, But the more you relax into it, the more that you're like, oh, I do know some things. I'm a walking library of information. And the more you value that as something that can be exchanged for money or resources, the more it comes to you. So that's how you use your Venus. Okay. I'm going to say we grow into this usually because society will tell you, well, this is the way that you should make money. And especially as a woman, it's like, you only got these ways to make money. It's like, and don't infringe upon his way of making money. This is the way that you can do it. Or this person made a bunch of money selling this, so I'm gonna go do that. And then they get upset because they didn't make as much money. It's like, well, that's not, your chart said that you make money over here, right? For instance, my Venus is in the sign of Virgo, right? The Virgo is the analyzer, the person, the documentarian, the producer, the person that goes in and like makes the constellations make sense. Yeah. And then also the virgin, the headmistress, right? That's absolutely that. And my Venus is in the 12th house of what? The house of the unconscious, the house of spiritual knowledge, right? For a long time, I tried to make myself make money in all these other ways. And even, I'm a creative person. So, and I'm a go-getter and I'm a willful woman. So I made it work. Don't get me wrong. But when I found astrology and I started doing astrology and it just clicked, it's like, that's when all the money, tons of money comes in, and effortlessly. So this is effortless money as well. But a lot of it is us coming to know ourselves and accept ourselves and be willing to go against society to fight for us, right? To say, no, this is my chart. This is my blueprint. You got a whole idea of how you can use my body and use my words and use my stuff, very much, especially for Black and brown women. Society will always have an idea of how to use your gifts, right? And try to tell you that you need to be putting it over here. Look at your chart. Look at your cards, and that will tell you, like, no, actually, this is how I do this effortlessly with no pain to me. And that's how you fit.
When you say that effortlessly, with ease, without having to fight, without having to pay, without having to suffer, can you imagine? I think, especially younger women, I definitely think like, some of these younger millennials and Gen Z, like, please, if y'all are listening, Karrie, I almost wish whether it's around your beauty or what your kind of inherent talents are or what attracts or how it brings it to you, I swear I wish every woman that was like graduating from college or around that age could do that. I think it's probably one of the best gifts you could give somebody, actually, for a young woman is a thorough reading of her chart with Karrie. Because I cannot tell you the way my life personally, and this was as an old broad, like how that, like, I say that for sure. I say that so people will tell me, no, really? I say that. My husband calls me on my little setup for a compliment. All right, y'all forgive me for that. It's natural. God is still working on me.
It's Leo.
But I swear that's really important. When Karrie did my reading for me, I was trying to make another career. I was trying to force it. Like, I literally forced a meeting with the CFO, the COO, and this organization I thought I was supposed to work at. Like, before, I didn't do any divination. I sort of consulted my cards, but not really, because I was still chicken shit about kicking myself out of the broom closet. I will never forget that. And something happened. The universe made something happen that I was so angry about. I was like, I'm out. I quit. I literally I gave my resignation because I was like, I can see where y'all are going and this is not going to work. And I literally had my reading with you a couple of weeks later. And in retrospect, as you're telling me all these things where my natural gifts lie, I cannot tell you how effective it has been for me, how happy it has made me. The hardest, most laborious parts have been things like learning the internet, learning social media, learning audio and video tech, and having to learn that, how these things work, newsletters, all that, how to represent yourself, building a brand. Those things took like a lot of actual labor and just keep working at it, practice, but everything else was a piece of cake. Just put the microphone on in front of me and it's a wrap. It makes total sense. Like what Karrie just said about my wit and talking about these things. That's why I'm like, oh, I don't know if Instagram's for me, but maybe Clubhouse, right? Where we talk. Like that's how we connect. That's how you build up. That's how I built up my little following. And it happened and did I put in a lot of work? Yes, but like that. In a summation, we're right. Listen to us, try these things, because I don't know what other tools that are tools of self-discovery and self-exploration. And as my friend Susie used to say, self-expansion. Your astrology and your tarot, man, they are so uniquely yours. Your practice around them, your study of them is so worth your time. It's as much worth your time as the pursuit of any master's and PhD, because it's about you. This is the university of you, you know?
Everybody clip that and put it on repeat. Okay. It's not about learning what somebody else wanted you to know. It's about learning what you wanted to know. Like, let's create your life here. Dang it. Your life, your actual life, what you want. Like, I'm going to just say this real quick. You can do a lot of things. You probably have lots of skills, right? What do you want to do? That's what you spend your life doing. What do you want to do? And your cards and your chart can help you figure that out if you don't know. Okay. But let's unlearn some of this other stuff that says you're not good enough until you know what I decided was important. Nah. You know, I can figure out what you want. I know, there's evidence all around of what you think is important. What do I think is important? And trust that the resources will come to you through that.
Resources that you never even, I never thought I was ever going to make money by anything other than a paycheck, girl. Seriously. Like if you'd ever told me I was going to be an entrepreneur, no. Because I've seen entrepreneurialism in my family. All it is working from sun up to sundown. No, thank you. Or in restaurants, like people saying, oh, I want to own girl, or like people, I want to own a cafe, which is cool. But I'm like, y'all don't have any idea. I've waited tables. People are always trying to rob you. You're constantly dealing with. But I thought my life, the only way I was going to make money was through a paycheck. And the biggest one I ever received had nothing to do with anybody's job. It was by virtue of somebody heard me on Clubhouse.
Oh my God. Somebody heard you. Do you hear that, everybody? Somebody heard you.
I love the way you present yourself on social media. We so rarely see tarot readers like you. And I was like, wow. And I was embarrassed to talk to people about this thing that I am very good at and I love. That has helped me so much. So listen to what we say. It's going to help you, I promise. And then tell us about it. Email us, go to the website, follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube.
Do a stitch, do something like that. Yeah.
Seriously, and tell us. And we want to hear your ideas, put it out there because you may inspire somebody else. You know, you're going to ignite the melanated magic in somebody else.
I think we should end with a question this time. The question is going to be, what is your beauty mark? And, make that the question for the day. Just send that out to the universe and listen, wait for it to be received, because that's how manifestation works. Yeah. Patience.
What a pleasure it is to do this project with you.
Thank you. Likewise, love.
No, we love y'all. Oh my God. Magic. All right. We love y'all. See y'all next time on the Melanated Mystics. Bye, y'all.